This is it, ladies and gentlemen, Creek Street. You were, at one time, brothels, bordellos, houses of ill repute. And none of these houses was quite as popular as Dolly's house. Now, Dolly was by far Ketchikan's most popular and beloved madam. Everybody loved her. The only thing is, that legend does not tell you whether that money is coming or going. Only that it will slip through your fingers somehow. So if you do decide to try your luck with the totem pole, just exercise a little caution here in the shopping district, where they have all kinds of shiny stuff in the windows to distract you with. Ooh! Sorry, I got distracted. Here on the right, we have our welcome arch. Welcome to Alaska's first city, the salmon capital of the world. So you see, folks, it's official. We are the salmon capital because we have a sign that says so. Can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, Anthony, Ketchikan cannot be the salmon capital of the world. Wherever I'm from is the salmon capital of the world. To which I reply, that's fantastic, but do you have a sign? If not, I'm afraid that honor is ours. Speaking of honor, we're going to pass through the world-famous tunnel. Everyone make some noise for me! But you see, my ex-girlfriend lives on top of the tunnel, and she just hates it when we do that. So thank you for participating. I hope we don't get arrested. Now, when I say that's the world-famous tunnel, what I mean is that tunnel holds a Guinness World Record for being the only tunnel on Earth you can not only drive through, but around and on top of. We're really hoping to get that sign put up soon. One thing you may have noticed about Ketchikan is all the bars we have here in town. There's one. At last count, there were a grand total of 28 bars on our island. There's one. For a town of only 8,000 people in the wintertime, 28 is kind of a lot of bars. There's one. We also have a lot of churches. At last count, there were 28 of them. If you do the math, you'll notice that those two numbers are roughly similar. You see, it used to be the law here in Ketchikan that there could not be more bars than churches. So during Ketchikan's early days, we were building a lot of churches. There's one. This is the old Lutheran church. Do you see the big cross up here on the steeple? That is a very popular spot for bald eagles to perch, because as everyone knows, they are birds of prey. Forgive me, I know not what I do. On the right, we have Ketchikan's original shoreline. This is where our island used to end, and the water would begin. So yes, if you think about it, we are driving over the water as we speak, but don't worry. We do have a McDonald's here in Ketchikan. We've got Subway, Godfather's Pizza, Taco. Our Subway is downtown. Pretty close to where you guys got off.
Finally, somebody!
Oh, I never thought the day would come. This will put us on the map for sure. At least that's what we said until we found out that our Walmart is the second smallest in the entire world. We're actually floating. I mean, yeah, that happens all the time. we always. Oh God. Was that smooth or what? Did anyone get a single drop of water on them? Exactly. Not yet is the correct answer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have a brief announcement to make. Now that we are officially out in the open water, we are no longer a bus. We are now a boat. And with that in mind, you are now free to stand up and move about the cabin as you see fit. Allow me to demonstrate. It is that simple, folks. The captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. However, the no smoking sign is still lit. I know it can be hard to resist, but please do it for the children. Now, there is a lot of stuff to point out here on the tour today. For example, we do have a chance to see wildlife. Now, here comes the fine print. I'm very sorry. Excuse me. I'm very sorry for this, but as you can, as the captain to Ketchikan, we have the orca, also known as the killer whale, and the humpback, also known as the humpback whale. Now, whales are a very rare sighting out here in the water. They don't like to come through here nearly as often as they used to because of all the large vessels that are coming through the water lately. The cruise ships, the ferry boats, large fishing vessels with their sonar and their pathfinding equipment, which tends to generate a lot of underwater noise that the whales do not like. So the captain and I will be keeping our eyes peeled so that if we do see wildlife today, you folks will be the third to know about it. Now, a lot of people like to ask me, Anthony, and I'll wait for a bit and I'll say yes, and they'll say, Anthony, does this water here in the harbor ever freeze in the wintertime? Who has the answer for me? No is the correct answer. You get a bonus point, 2 more in your hired. Now, first of all, this is all salt water. Lots of people like to ask me, Anthony, what's the name of this big lake out here? That would be Lake Pacific Ocean. Biggest lake in the world. This is all seawater, and it takes a very low temperature to try and freeze it. The other reason this water does not freeze is because it just doesn't get that cold around here. At all. Ever. The average wintertime temperature here in Ketchikan is 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Exactly. We get a low in about the 20s or so, high in the 40s, 50s if we're lucky. The coldest I've ever seen it get here in Ketchikan is -2. That's it. Like you said, it gets colder in Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, New York, DC, 4 feet of snow on the ground. We will send our kids to school with a sack lunch, a flashlight, and a flare gun. Just in case things get a little hairy. They are not missing school on account of some measly snow. Now over here on the left-hand side, up on the hill, there's a big boxy gray building with beige trim and green spots. Do you all see that? Does anyone have a guess as to what that building might be? It's not a hospital. Jail? Why does everybody say that that's a jail? That's our high school. Oh, I know. Same thing. Never heard that one before. Yes, that right there is Ketchikan High School, or K-High as we call it, K-A-Y-H-I. K-High is a fully functional American high school. I myself attended there for about a month. We graduate about 100 kids or so every year. Sometimes as many as 112. We have all kinds of extracurricular activities that we perform at K-High, including but not limited to theater, art, music, and of course, sports. Everybody loves K-High sports. We even tell anyone here ever been to Santa Cruz, California? And does anybody know what the mascot is at UC Santa Cruz? The banana slug. Yes, that is the mascot at Santa Cruz. I feel pretty good about being a king salmon right about now. Sometimes I actually get people asking me, what is a slug? It's like a snail without a shell. The banana slug can be up to a foot long and over an inch wide, and they are quite literally disgusting. It is a scientific fact. Apparently in Scottsdale, Arizona, they have a community college whose mascot is the artichoke. Does anyone know about that? Really? Welcome. Our island is larger than your state. Only by a slight margin, but it is. It's like they say, everything's bigger in Alaska. We have state-sized islands. Take that, Texas. Did we ever find out if we had any Texans on board? Oh, thank goodness. Nothing against people from Texas, but when they come to the largest state in the Union, they tend to get a little bit uppity. And we threaten them with cutting our state in half and making them the third largest. Oh, they love that one. Now, even though I've mentioned repeatedly that this is an island, I still get people asking me, what is the nearest community to Ketchikan that you could drive to? None of them. Because this is an island. And islands are completely surrounded by water on all sides, almost as if they were islands. I guess this just isn't being taught in schools anymore. There are no roads or bridges whatsoever that lead away from our island. You cannot drive to Ketchikan, no matter how hard you may try. Please do not try very hard. You will not like what you find. There are a grand total of 3, and only 3 ways to get to Ketchikan. That is by plane, by boat, or by bird canal, like I did. If you want to fly to Ketchikan on, say, a 737 jet out of Seattle, our airport is right back there. And for those of you who could not tell, that is a different island. As if things weren't complicated enough. That right there is the island of Gravina. So if you want to fly to Ketchikan, you've got to land on Gravina and then take a boat ride over to Revilla on our airport ferry. This ferry ride takes about 10 minutes, and it costs $5. And if you don't have the $5 you need to get on the airport ferry, well, congratulations. You are the newest employee at Ketchikan International Airport. And if you work for us for a good 12 years or so, you will eventually achieve seniority and be rewarded the $5 you need to get on the airport ferry. We call it an international airport, by the way, because back in 1985, a Canadian plane was forced to make an emergency landing at our airport. That's it. That's the whole story. That is the bare minimum requirement necessary to become an international airport. All it takes is one foreign plane. So we took that title and ran with it. International. Now, of course, it's not just people that can only get here by plane and boat. The same is true of all of our goods. Oh, there goes our state bird. The float plane, otherwise known as the gas hawk. Yes, everything that we need to survive here in Ketchikan, the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the beer and liquor in our 28 bars, all the essentials have to be flown in or shipped in, which tends to do what? Raise the price. The cost of living here in Ketchikan is somewhat high, but we locals don't really notice all that much. Primarily because our local wages have caught up to the cost of living, at least for the most part. It's never really enough. But also, we have a low sales tax rate here in Ketchikan of only 6%. Notice I said here in Ketchikan, not here in Alaska. As you go through our state, you're going to notice that we don't have a state sales tax. Our sales tax varies from borough to borough. You guys know what boroughs are, right? They're what we call our counties here in Alaska. Just like in Louisiana, where they have parishes. I expected you to know the answer to that one, sir. We are the only 2 states to do this. And here in Ketchikan,